All right, hey guys, this is Brendan Walsh from United Sportsmen's Company. We're going to do a little talk today about a Beretta Extrema. It's a 391 Extrema. It's a tried and true workhorse. Every time I work on a gun or clean guns for customers, I like to do a little review on what's great about them, what's not as great, or what the best features of the gun are. I'm going to start on this Extrema at the bottom and work my way to the top. The Extrema is a really robust semi-auto gun. Gas operated, got a really nice rounded recoil pad. Talking about the good features of the Beretta Extrema 391, workhorse for decades. The 391's been around. Anytime you have a gas operated shotgun, you want to have a Scotch-Brite. Maybe every 100 rounds, maybe every 500, depends on how dirty the shells are. But when you take this apart, you take the barrel off and you go to clean the gas system, one of the things I always do is I always clean the gas system, one with either the sponge or two with a wet, warm, soapy water Scotch-Brite pad. I clean that, I forward the bolt, clean that whole area, take everything out, and clean that whole thing with a Scotch-Brite warm, soapy water. Then I dry it with a paper towel, lightly hit it with a light oil that won't jam, very light oil. Then you won't have problems. But if you're hunting ducks, you're hunting in the rain, you're hunting in the mud, I'd say maybe every 100 shells or every third or fourth day, I clean mine. That way you never have any jams. Okay, one thing about this Beretta Extrema that I really like on the Beretta guns is their recoil pads. They're just really smooth. They mount fast. They're really good recoil absorbing and real smooth to mount. So when you go to mount this gun, it never snags on your clothes. It just comes up nice and mounts nice. That's one thing I really love about the Beretta Extrema. I'm cleaning this one for a customer, had it all apart. I really like the grip panels. The rubberized grip panels give you a good grip. I never drop my shotgun, but gives you a good spot for your hand. I really like the grip panels. Another feature I like on this Extrema as we move forward, it's got the grooves, the milled receiver grooves here, so you can use these for mounting a scope or a red dot later on. You don't have to pay to drill and tap it, it's already there. At the heart of the action, again, it's gas operated. You've got your rotating bolt. And one of the things I like about the rotating bolt, it's a system that's tried and true. The one thing I don't like, we call it Benelli thumb or rotating bolt problems. Sometimes if you're in a duck blind, see that's not all the way closed and you have to push it that last little bit. On the looser guns, like the Black Eagle, sometimes a dog will hit it or you'll hit it on your jacket. And if that bolt is like in half battery, the gun won't work. You have to slam it all the way home. And what I did on this particular gun is I lightly oil that rotating bolt like with WD-40 or good quality light gun oil. Not too much. I take a Q-tip and I oil that so that when that bolt goes, it closes. And another thing, a lot of people want to be real quiet and blind and you don't push it all the way home. And again, look, it has to go closed. So with a rotating bolt, let that thing slam and then it rotates and locks in the battery. If that thing's not engaged, it will not fire. So there's a couple things moving forward. Also, this Extrema, this 391, they give you really nice shims. So if you want to adjust the height of your comb to fit you, they give you a really nice shim kit. So that's another feature of this gun I really like. Here we're talking about not only this 391 Extrema by Beretta, but an often overlooked part of a shotgun that guys forget to do, your choke tubes. Benelli, Beretta use a really nice coarse thread, which we love. We clean those threads really good, and we use a high quality gun oil like Rust Inhibitor or any other favorite oil you like, but you want those threads clean, and you want a little bit of oil on them when you put them in. How often do you do it? Well, I do my shotguns about every week. And that way, my choke tubes never rust in. It's a real pain in the ass, and I don't mind saying it. If you let your choke tubes rust in there, and you can't get them out, and you got to use a torch or vice grips or whatnot to get them out. So I always oil my choke tubes about every week, take them out, oil them, lube them, make sure all the gunpowder residue is out of the threads, put them back in, snug with your wrench, you're done. You'll never have a problem. But don't let that sit for 2 years in there. Clean your choke tubes probably once a week, once a month at the very least. So it's Brendan here again at United Sportsmen. We talked a little bit about quality shells. You take a Beretta, a Winchester, Benelli, you feed them quality shells, they're going to run good. Use 1 ounce and 1/8, you're going to have problems. I stay with 1 1/4 ounce. I like the 3 3/4 dram. You ever drink like really poor beer and like rotten pizza, how you feel the next day? That's how your gun feels. If you feed it crap, you're going to have problems. So feed it good shells, no rotten pizza and warm beer. It won't run good. All right, we're still here at United Sportsmen talking about the troubles guys have with different shotguns, the pros and cons, all the different brands and sizes. This was the 391 Extrema, 3.5-inch gun for 3.5-inch shells. Let's talk about a real common problem we see here at the gun club where guys don't read their box of shells or in a hurry. Anyway, big action, big heavy gun. It requires 1 ounce and 1/4 of shot to make it function. It should use 3 3/4 drams of gunpowder. Okay, so you want a Magnum shell, a 3-inch or 3.5-inch Magnum shell. In the old days, I loved it. A lot of your lead shells would not only tell you 1 ounce and 5/8 shot, but they'd also say 3 drams of powder. Some of the discount brand shells you'll find will have 3 drams of powder. 3 drams of powder will not cycle a Magnum gun. Don't even mess with it. Buy good heavy loads, 3 3/4 or 4 drams of powder, 1 ounce and 1/4 or better a shot, you'll never have a problem. I'm going to set this down and go over one more. Steel shot. You got to be real careful when you're buying steel shot not to buy 1 ounce and 1/8 loads for Magnum guns. Sometimes they'll feed, sometimes they won't. So I always look for 1.5 ounces a shot and a Magnum 1,400 or 1,300 feet per second. I prefer that it says how many drams of powder. So if you have over 3 3/4 with 1 ounce and 1/4 or better of shot, it'll cycle that action. But if you use a light load, you're going to have a lot of problems. I'm going to go over one more area. You're going to have some problems with your shotgun. I'm left-handed, it's a right-handed gun, but we're going to talk about it. It's empty and open. If you mount your gun and it's not all the way to your shoulder, you're halfway up, you have to have about 15 pounds of meat or power pushing up against that gun. If you hold your gun light and don't have it all the way to your shoulder, it won't cycle. Gas gun or inertia, you really want the gun touching you with about 15 pounds of pressure on the stock to work that spring. If you mount it halfway and try to shoot it, it won't cycle the action. So you got to have about 15 pounds of forward force into that gun. A lot of guys get the gun halfway up, shoot, it won't cycle the next shell, so always watch that. I guess we'll go outside and shoot it. Okay, again, United Sportsmen, a good time to test a duck gun is in duck weather, cold, snow, ice. We're using good 3-inch Magnum, 1 1/4 ounce Kents today. We're going to see how this Beretta likes those. We're putting her on fire, and we're going to get our shoulder into the gun like we discussed. Ready? You want to come right up here? Good? Yep. Okay, it's United Sportsmen here again. We're going to do a little conclusion. Would I buy or not buy a 391? The 391 is a workhorse. It's an awesome gun by Beretta. Love the gas action. Keep it clean. It'll work forever. A little bit heavy, but the heavier the gun, the less recoil gets on me, and I like that. The only thing that I would recommend if anybody buys an Extrema, a 3.5-inch Extrema, shoot heavy loads. Don't go to the discount marts and buy the 1 ounce cheapie or the questionable loads. Get good high brass 3 dram plus equivalent powder. I like to go 3 3/4 drams of powder, 1 1/4 ounce a shot. Then you never have to jack around. She's going to feed. This gun is a man's gun with a big Magnum chamber. It's designed to shoot big loads. So again, stick with that. You'll never have problems with the Beretta Extrema. Remember, we talked about that O-ring. Don't let your buddy take it apart in the boat in the dark. You'll lose your O-ring, then you'll be a one-shot wonder. Don't do that. Keep your O-ring handy. Have another one. When you buy an Extrema, keep an O-ring handy.